I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Wakim, that are teaching the truth in sincerity across the four corners of the earth. I'm your brother Kabash from the GMS Atlantic Camp, and I'm here with the hopeful edifying lesson through the Spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Shai to feed the hopefully let. Um, so with this video today, I'm gonna get into a testimony of mine, um, which is really a true story that happened to me many years ago, around New Year's of 2009. Really, I would say the second day of New Year's, and that's the day that I knew that the Most High was real. It was before I came into truth or whatnot. I also have, you know, a time when before that happened of me knowing that the Most High was real, literally, um, I came across the elders video. I came across the elders video, and I came across, um, I think Nate had a video, Nathaniel. But I know I came across the elders video when he was on the highways and byways, and when they sat in the studio with the "It's the End of the World" curtains behind them. Um, but I didn't watch it how I when I first came into this truth. I was in the world still, but I didn't know that I was in the world. I just came across, a video of the elders, that's going to lead up to the me knowing that the Most High is real, the Lord is real, the angels are real. Um, so fast forward to the point of the story. So the time I came across the elders video was in 2008. It was the late summer of 2008, around August, and I just wanted to, check out what's online and whatnot. The area I was staying at was near Theological Seminar School, and I used to go out there from time to time and get on the internet. And I just so happened to, because I used to be into Alex Jones and certain Illuminati information started spilling out, but it wasn't a lot like we have now. Um, but it was some information about that. I used to just dabble into that, and then I think upon me searching for things to just get interested into, I came across the elders videos, and I had to tell everybody what I seen right after I seen the first couple of videos of the apostles and elders and brothers on the highways and byways holding missile signs, the signs that we hold now in camp, um, with the missiles on there, America being destroyed. You see the fire on there. Like, I saw those signs, and man, the apostles and elders' face was like terrible. While they was preaching the word, and it just pricked you like man. And he said, the Lord is not a white man; he's a so-called black man. America's going down for what they did to the Lord's people. And I was like, oh shit. It's like, damn, I could like it was direct. It was more than what you get out of the church. And that what amazes me, that amazed me too that day, the time when I seen it. Right before the year that, the Lord actually um, did his works to revealed to me in this real reality. Um, So right after I seen that videos, I went to back to the neighborhood where I was, and I told people that was outside. And guess what? It was spiritual because all of them was Jake of different tribes. Uh, one was from Puerto Rico. His name's Shane. One is from the Latino tribe. His name is Ben. The other one is from the Southern Kingdom. His name Dominique. And The other one's from the Northern Kingdom. Gad, his name is uh, Brandon. So I just told him, he was outside. He was outside drinking and whatnot. And I just told him, man, it was just after me clicking off that video, I just took whatever piece of information from that video that I saw the elders from, and I just lodged it at him. Like I just like, yo, this, and this, and then it just had the spirit just had it to where, even though I didn't know at the time, but I just wanted to be separated from them and just think upon what I just saw. And I kind of gave that a rest. Like I didn't give it a rest like I was trying to think whether I should be in the truth or not. I didn't know what the truth was or nothing like that. I just knew that the information that the elders gave at that time that I took, because you can't gather everything at once, but I extracted, and it was like that's what I held on dear to. But then, as life continued in '08, I just, was mainly, back into the world again. Um, as far as school and stuff like that, trying to do something with myself goes, and my daily activity as well. So fast forward '09, I move into my spot of South Harrison down here in Atlanta. It's on the east, and moved in, and I started getting into more reading. I started getting into more of myself, and I stayed by myself. I started getting into like more reading on health books. Like I read this one health book, Kevin Tradier, um, uh, the natural cures they don't want you to know about. Uh, my grandfather gave me that book, um, and I just I was a bookworm. Especially when I got in my own place. I was definitely a history buff within school, so I had an attraction to reading, especially if it was benefiting me. Um, then I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I started diving into alternative news because alternative news just started to really branch out even more on the scene than how it is now. But I was way into those grassroots radio stations, and that leads to another thing right now. Right now, I have on the screen the radio host in the pink hat. Her name is Adama. I actually got to visit her in her own home, and that's where the story, the main part of the story, is going to take place. And I want to get some scriptures too before I dive into that. Um, to prove that the acts of the Lord was scribed within the scriptures, and it still is a testimony unto us after many years, after thousands of years that just passed. And those testimonies are never going to be uprooted. It's going to be known in the kingdom, and the Lord is still dealing in that same matter in this day, and that's what I want to really go into, uh, because the Lord really revealed Himself unto me, and not in the sense of me seeing Him physically, but it was definitely a spiritual um, event, and it was so direct. It wasn't like sloppy. It was so direct. It was it was in that situation, and everything happened that now that the Lord led me to this truth, obviously, that I see that it was the workings of the Lord, but in real time. It's a saying, the truth is stranger than fishing, and the truth is, yo. But so fast forward, oh, now I got my own place. I'm doing my thing in my own apartment, and then I come across her radio station. Like I said, me listening to grassroots uh, um, radio stations. I had an appetite to go back to what I'd seen from the apostles and elders, but I couldn't remember what channel or name that it was. You know what I mean? And and I was really like a homebody, and I didn't have a laptop at the time, so I just dealt with what I had until something came across to where I could do that. But I just didn't dabble into the computer at that time. Um, but yeah, I would just come home, get off from work, chill, and I'll pop on something like Dharma. And she basically what she would get into is the herbs, and she was literally aiming at Jake crowd. Obviously she's an Evite, um, but she would how she speaks. She draws you in, especially if you don't have this truth. You don't know about anything. Um, you will be very captivated with interest on how she delivered the message that she has, especially towards our people. And you know, it was to the point that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give her a call. And I remember the apostle Tahar said this too when I first joined the camp. In one of his videos, he said, "Man, some of y'all jakes that just started to wake up to this truth. A lot of y'all thought that y'all was Muslims, Christians, children of the universe, and that will spark me to listen more and dwell with the elders more too, because I remember she mentioned about us being children of the universe, the all supreme being. I started dabbling into the 5% doctrine, and I actually thought I was on to something, but they would quote little things from scriptures in the 5%ers book. But back to her, she would draw you in, and she would tell you like how you can never fail. Basically, how you can be immortal in this reality realm. You know what I mean? How you can uh, basically tap into your essence, and that's what I really fell in love with. And so, fast forward, and I finally got up the nerve to call her, and I called her, and while she was on break, and we set up a meeting to meet at her house. Because I was going into how um, I wanted to get into hers, tap into the hers more. I wanted to. This is '09, late '09, by the way. I think it was a little before Christmas. No, no, no. I think it was a little after Christmas, and then it was branching on the New Year's, because I remember the week after I had visited her. So we make up a date, bam, 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 and then fast forward, it goes to that date. If I'm not mistaken, like I said, the second day of New Year's, and I kind of made other plans to do something else that day, but it didn't go like that, And I'm gonna go into the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, because I remember that day. Now that I realized I came across an angel, but he didn't seem like it. He just seemed like a rugged man, like he just dressed rugged. He looked like he is a no, he looked like a vagabond. I mean, he's just a traveler. You know, Jake down on his luck. But the closer I got to him, because I remember he was walking like this with his hand on his chest like this, like it was some type of coat of arms jester or something. And he was just walking up on the street. It was regular, but it was like he didn't miss a beat with his step. Like he was firm. The closer and closer I got, and I remember a couple before me, um, that was coming up on him, and they was holding hands, and he walked straight through him, and I'm looking like, damn, don't nobody see this? Why didn't he move out the way? And so I got closer, and I'm like, because I'm, you know, uh, a non-confrontational Jake. So I'm walking my side. So I'm like, well, I ain't gonna walk on my side. And he's still doing like this. The closer I got, the more and more I started looking at him. I'm like, what the world? And I'm looking around like, don't nobody see this? And he was just going up like this. And I remember me looking at him, and it was strange. And the couple that walked past him that he went through, they kept going like he wasn't there, and that's what shocked me, because Jake, somebody do that to Jake, they gonna go off, but it wasn't like that. It was a whole nother thing. Now that I realized that had to be like an angel, because he had this terrible look on his face. He didn't look like a drunk. He didn't look like he didn't feel like he was mad at you or nothing. It was just his aura, his his being. You know what I mean? Like, I that day, because it was like it was a preparation for me before I went to Adama house, because I had plans on going to our house at first. That's after I saw him, but I didn't know. But looking back, I'm like, who was that man that morning when I first started doing my errands before I went to a house? And he just stood out. I got this in Hebrews chapter 13. And I'm gonna read about the acts that the Lord did to our forefathers, and how they was stranger than the truth was stranger than fish, and dealing with them. And also I'm gonna go into how the Lord helped, like I said, helped us out in many situations that's like not real life. Like the Three Holy Children book goes into Jake being in the fire, Abednego, Meshach, and Shimdrak. They was put in the fire, and they didn't get burned. It wasn't no smell on them. It wasn't no sin on them. No, none of their clothes were burnt. Not a hair on their head was touched. And then they had witness to that. They said it was one. There was one more in there. It was three of them in there, but they said it's four, and they said that it looks like the Son of Man. And I was like, and then too, how they came up with the concept of that looks like the Son of Man. There had to be an angel in there, and they was under that trance of actually seeing that angel with him, which was Yahweh Shai. Like the donkey saw the angel of the Lord in the pathway standing with a sword against Balaam, and Balaam started talking to the donkey. All that's true, yo. But I just want to jump into this. Me passing, angel, man. That had to be, yo, because how everything um, just matches up. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. And what we do, yo, and these angels, they be amongst us, man. And Lord will, I can touch on that part right after the fact. What I had went through with the later Adama on the screen. Come to find out later why in this truth, you know, uh, she's basically practicing left hand side witchcraft. She's not a palm reader, nothing like that. Like I said, I went to her house and was talking about herbs. She had a list of herbs on the list and what they do, the benefits of it. You know, she was like Google at that time with those herbs. And there was many different herbs. If you try to research them, you couldn't research them. These left hand side spirits, they know, bro. They know the Most High is real. Like it says in James chapter 2, verse 19. You believe in the Lord, that's good. The devils also believe and they tremble. And I'm gonna get to that too, because before I witnessed the Most High deliverance, I witnessed Satan on my left hand side. And he was invisible, but he he existed. He existed. You know, it was like a sinister laugh I heard from my left hand side. You know, that's upon me going to a house. But yeah, I just read that in Hebrews chapter 13 about entertaining strangers. Now, later on that day, I finally went to a house, and then I couldn't find a house. I got the wrong address, right? Couldn't find out. I went past our house a couple of times. So I hopped back on the train, and I said, forget it. We'll do it some other time. And then she said, all right, if you don't, then, just, if you don't change your mind, no, she like, if you do change your mind, then hit me back up. So I went back to the house, and I pondered upon those things. And upon me getting back to the house, something heavy came over me. And, and in the wintertime, daytime is short, and nighttime started to hit quick. So I think it was around like 5, 6. And I remember Club Echelon 3000 was open, and the parking lot was packed full of people. And something was over me. It was like, dang. As I was walking back to the house after catching the bus, I was like, man, something. It feels like it's the day of judgment, like it's Judgment Day. And it was so heavy on me that I called my father. I woke him up out of his sleep. I think he was resting at that time, but I had called him, and I asked my father. I said, "Hey, pops, I think it feels like Judgment Day." And my father he gave me this shocked answer. I mean, he was shocked the way that he responded to it. It's like, what? It's like, and I sincerely asked him, like, do you know if it's Judgment Day? Because, you know what I mean? Who else would know better than your parents, right? Jake in the world, how they, how they think. And so he was like, he don't know. And he said, everything all right? And I was like, it was just heavy on me, like it seems like it's the day of judgment. And he was like, nah, son, I don't know. I don't know. And then I was like, all right, I'll holler back at you. And then right after that, um, I called her. I called Adama back. And I remember me being on the phone with her in my kitchen. The lights never did this in the kitchen. The lights never did this. As soon as I started saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go. She said, "Oh, okay, okay, you gonna go?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta catch the bus, so I ain't gonna make no time, but I'm gonna be there, at least before 9, 8 o'clock." And so she would start talking, and all of a sudden it was like this figure in front of my refrigerator, and that's mainly what the light was over, and all of a sudden the light started flickering, start flickering off and on, off and on, off and on. Then it kind of stayed off, and it was like the figure that I seen was like right there. It was tall, like a man figure, and it was like he had like a crown, but it was some type of luminary type of vision, but it's like you can't fathom how to describe it. So I hung up the phone with her, then all of a sudden the lights just came back on. And then so I waited for the next bus, caught the bus to College Park, and that's where I had to get off at. And now I'm already to a house. Man, I'm talking about it's like a movie, yo. The house setting was calm. I came up to the door, and she opened the door. The house was clean, man. It was clean. I'm talking about it was clean, man. It was sharp. So I walks in. She offered me a seat at the table in the dining room, and I sat down, and she had waters out for us, and she asked me how I was doing, and I remember uh, she coming out with different sheets of the herbs and stuff that we talked about, and phone call came, and she was on the phone for a minute. She came back in, and then we started talking, and then all of a sudden, um, after that, I think it was before she came back in, because I was thirsty too. I had drunk some water, then I was chilling. Then all of a sudden she came back, and we started talking some more, and we started getting into the herbs, about you know medical history, how my family was, how I was raised, and she really aimed at um, how she speak on her talk show about the essence and whatnot. And so she said, "Yeah, this is part of the program um, of of how I think it was related to her ancestors and whatnot." But she got up, she sung, she was hemming a song, and she was walking around the table like she was into it, bro. It wasn't no faking. It was like she was into it. So I'm sitting at the table, and all of a sudden she's singing around in a circle, and it was how she was singing. It was so heartfelt, yo. I'm talking about those was like good megahertz, because it made you feel free, and it was unexplainable, but it made you feel free. And the way she was singing, is she sprayed orange spray as she was going around. It was like citrus smell. It was like three times, and then all of a sudden, me at the end of this table, I'm like, it was like I started crying. Like I said, it made you feel good how she was singing. Then all of a sudden, I just started crying, and then no, no, no. Before I started crying, but it was no tears. This was the weirdest thing. And then I never thought on upon crying. It wasn't my intent to. You know what I mean? But before that happened, I remember because I only had on my bubble coat and the black T-shirt, and I remember taking off my coat. Everything was new. I literally just purchased these items. The coat, the shirt, the shoes, because it's like after New Year's, buy you little clothes or whatnot. So I remember having it off while we was talking. Then all of a sudden, when she was singing around, I think around the second time, it was like I said, Satan was on my left hand side,